All right. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm waiting for the last people. There's Jack. I'm waiting for Marita. Hi, Jack. Jack, how are you doing? Can you hear me? Marita, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing fabulous. Thank you. How are you liking it over there? You said it's pretty good?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I even got my first car over here, so it's pretty cool.
Any more surfing?
Yeah, I went yesterday, so yeah, it's tough, but I like it.
You're going to be a pro, huh?
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know, it's hard.
Yeah, I'd imagine it is.
Yeah.
Okay, Jack, we can't hear you or see you, so I don't know if you can hear us. I'm hoping you can hear us.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go back to the share screen. What we're going to do today is go over the final review packet. So if you guys have it, take it out, and we're going to go over a few of them together. All right. We will start off with Unit 7. I know I did some last week, but I'm still going to start off with Unit 7. Any questions from Unit 7 section of the packet? There were only 3 questions. Done? We're good?
It was doable. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to move on then. How about Unit 8? I think Unit
27 or like 28.
27 or 28? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I see it. I did one of them with you guys. Do you guys, those of you that were here last week, do you remember which one I did?
28.
I did 28. Okay, so I'll do 27. Thank you. Is that Andrea that let me know?
Yeah.
Thank you. Any others from Unit 8 besides 27? Okay, I'll start off with that one for now, and then you can let me know if there's any others. Okay, that one's using the f of x function, which is 5x minus 3. And they want us to use the difference quotient, which is f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. Those of you that have it in front of you, would you guys agree that is correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do f of x plus h here minus f of x here. And so this here is the first parentheses, and this piece here goes in the second parentheses. So in the first parentheses, we're taking our f function and plugging in x plus h into all of the x's. So 5 blank minus 3, what goes in the blank?
X plus H.
X plus h. And then the next one, we're going to do something similar. We are going to do again 5 blank minus 3, and this time what's going inside the parentheses?
X.
X. And then it's all over h. So that gives me 5x plus 25 minus 3.
Isn't that supposed
supposed to be an H?
Where?
X plus 5, isn't that supposed to be X plus H?
Oh, right here.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let me redo, and that was me going too fast. You guys are awesome. Thank you for catching that. Right here, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Oh. Ah. Okay. All right. So we distribute the 5. 5x plus what?
H.
5H.
5H minus 3 minus 5X
5X plus 3.
plus 3. And I'm gonna let you guys simplify that up. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. All right, go up there in front of where you were sitting. Okay, so what ends up crossing out on this one? Or yeah, undoing each other, 5X and negative 5X. What else?
3s.
Leaving us with 5H over H, which is
5.
just 5. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mrs. Flores, but I just wanted to
Yes.
say hi.
What was that?
I wanted to say hi.
Oh, hello, hello.
Okay, bye.
Hi. Hey, Chauncey, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good, thank you.
Good.
Okay, any questions on 27 before we move on? So
Which,
Chauncey, yes,
which unit was that?
this was Unit 8, number 27. This is the first one I've done so far.
Okay.
And I am recording and I will put it on my website later today. Okay, any others from Unit 8 besides 27? Okay, I am going to clear it so I can start the next unit. All right, Unit 9, questions from Unit 9.
No.
None from that section?
Nope.
Okay, I did do some of those last week, right? I believe I did.
Yeah.
Okay, how about something like 7 or 8 or 9 or anything in like 10 through 14 section? None of those at all?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right, then I'm going to jump to Unit 10. And I don't think I did any from Unit 10 last week, so this is new. Well, it's not new, but something I've not yet gone over. But it is review. You have all of the stuff in your notes. Have any of you guys watched any of the videos that I have on my website?
I have.
Who's
Yeah.
did I
I've
have?
watched some of them.
Okay, so there are some problems worked out there that I did with my class last year, correct?
Yes.
Okay, okay. All right, so Unit 10 questions.
Can you go over 13?
13, any others? Okay, going on 13. And that is f of x equals x squared plus x all over x squared plus 4x plus 4. Okay, and it's asking us to graph, yes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is where we do domain, va, ha, sa, x-intercepts, and y-intercepts. Okay, so domain, where do we look at for the domain?
What the denominator can equal?
What the denominator can equal, correct. And what we're going to do as well is factor, because that is going to help us find what we need to find. X plus 1, and does the denominator factor?
Yeah.
Okay, what does it factor to?
X plus 2, X plus 2.
And nothing reduces, and if it did, I would find the domain first. So domain is all reals such that x cannot equal what number?
-2.
-2. And since nothing reduces with the variables, there's not going to be any holes in the graph. Okay, vertical asymptotes. Do you guys remember how to find the vertical asymptotes?
The denominator.
And if you look back in your notes for this, under this unit, it's in there. It says how to find the vertical, how to find the horizontal. Okay, so I think that was Eric that said you find it by what makes the bottom 0, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so what makes the bottom 0?
-2.
-2. What's the multiplicity? If the bottom is the same as x plus 2 quantity squared, what's the multiplicity?
2.
2. We're not going to get to it yet until we graph, but does anybody remember what the multiplicity of 2 means about the graph? If you don't, it's okay. We'll see it once we get there.
Doesn't that mean it's
Means it bounces, right?
bounce?
It means it bounces if it was an x-intercept. So when we get to the x-intercept, that's what it would mean. But here, this means at your asymptotes, you're going in the same direction. Do you remember that?
I think I remember.
Ms. Torres,
Yes.
that actually kind of answered my question because
Okay.
I was just like looking at the answers, just like checking everything,
Uh-huh.
and I just couldn't figure out why both
came
of
from
them
the
were
top.
pointing up. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. I'm glad you said that. So that was your question. He got it answered. So he was saying when he was graphing it, he couldn't figure out, if you look at your answer key, it has both of them, both the arrows going up. And he said that it answered his question. It was because the multiplicity was 2. Would anybody like me to continue?
Yes.
Okay. Horizontal, does anybody remember from your notes how you find the horizontal? There was a little trick we did.
Mhm.
Something with the limit. We take the limit as x approaches infinity.
Infinity.
And that's where we do the top heavy, bottom heavy, or the same. Is this top heavy, bottom heavy, or the same?
The same.
It's the same. And does anybody remember what we do with when it's the same? We take leading
Oh, yeah. Leading coefficient.
coefficients. And so what is it? Y equals
1.
1. And because as a horizontal, there means there's no slant. You can put D and E, none, does not exist. It's up to you and what you want to write there. Okay, x-intercepts. How do we find x-intercepts? We make the equation equal to 0. What's going to happen with the denominator when I set it equal to 0? Is it just going to be gone?
Oh, that cancels out the denominator.
It cancels out the denominator, and this is what you're left with. So what are my 2 x-intercepts?
0 and -1.
And then y-intercept, I plug 0 in for all of my x's. I'm going to erase some of this in a little bit, so I'm just going to put the note here. Y equals 0 plus 0 over 0 plus 0 plus 4. What do we end up with?
0.
0. All right, I am going to erase this here so I have some space to show work. Any questions before I graph? No, we're good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so room for the graph. We're going to make our x-intercept, our y-intercept. All right, I have an asymptote at, I have 2 of them at, no, I have 1 at x equals -2. That is my vertical. And then I have 1 horizontal at y equals 1. And then we're ready to make our graph. Okay, on the far, do you see there's two sections, a right side and a left side? Do you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, on the left side, this section over here, there's a top and a bottom. My graph is either going to be all at the top or all at the bottom. How do I know which one it is? Oh, I didn't plot my x-intercepts. Let me do that first. 0 and -1. And my y-intercept is 0. Okay, so is it all at the top or all at the bottom? It's either one, it cannot be both. Anybody know?
The top would not have it. The top wouldn't have intercepts, so it would be top to bottom, I think.
All at the top?
Yes.
Okay, he is correct. Why is it all at the top? He actually said why, because there's no what?
No x-intercepts.
X-intercepts. In order for it to be down here, it would have to cross the x-axis, which it cannot. So it's all at the top. Okay, and as Garen said earlier that answered his question, because the multiplicity is 2 at my vertical asymptote, that means it is even. And if you go back in your notes, even means the graph starts in the same direction. So it's going to be starting from the top. It has these two x-intercepts to hit, and Chauncey talked about bouncing earlier. Both of these x-intercepts have a multiplicity of 1, so are they both crosses or both bounces?
Crosses.
They're both crosses. And I am going to come down. I crossed this one, come up because I have this other one to cross. Now, once I cross that one, do I have any other x-intercepts bringing me down? Do you see where I went through these two x-intercepts? Do I have any other x-intercepts bringing me down? No. And the horizontal, we only cross the horizontal if we have to. There's no more have to situation, so it's just approaching the horizontal from down there. I had to cross it here in order to reach these x-intercepts, and after that, there was no other reason to cross it, so it's just approaching it from the bottom side. Questions on that one? All right, any other questions from Unit 10? No other questions from Unit 10? Okay, Unit 11. Questions from Unit 11?
2, 3, 4, 5.
2, 3, 4, 5. Let me write those down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, is this the conic section? Yes, it is. All right, I'm going to clear this, and again, I have it recorded so you can see it later. Okay, Unit 11. The questions were 2, 3, 4, 5. Any others? Okay, it says at the beginning here, sketch each of the following conics and identify all of their characteristics. Okay, number 2, x equals 2 parentheses y plus 3 quantity squared minus 1. Okay, what shape is this? What conic is this? An ellipse, a parabola, a circle, a hyperbola? Which one is it? There's only one squared, and because there's only one variable being squared, there's only one shape that does that. Anybody know which one it is?
Parabola.
Parabola.
Yeah, a parabola is the only shape that has only one variable being squared. Because it's the y squared and not x squared, which type of parabola is it? The traditional one that opens up or down, or is it one of the ones that opens sideways?
Sideways.
Sideways.
Sideways. Because it's positive 2, is it opening to the right or to the left?
Right.
It's opening to the right. Okay. Okay, so the characteristics that we find for a parabola would be the vertex, the focus, the directrix, and the axis of symmetry, or line of symmetry, however you call it. Okay, vertex is the opposite of the inside. The outside stays the same. So what would my vertex be? I'm going to write down one that is a common mistake. And before I go any further, did anybody think it was this? And it's okay if you did.
No, would it be flipped?
No.
Why would it be flipped? Why is this wrong? Like, first, before I address why it's wrong, do you see why kids would make this mistake? Because
Yes.
we're used to doing opposite, same, first and second. Okay, why is it wrong? Why does it need to be switched?
Because it's y plus 3, not x plus 3.
Good. So what is my true vertex?
Negative 1.
Negative 1, 3. Negative 1, negative 3.
So it's still opposite of the inside, outside stays the same. Only thing is that y inside is y, so that goes in the y spot. Outside stays the same, would then have to go in the x spot. Okay, so let's go ahead and sketch so we can find all the other bits and pieces. Okay, -1, -3. And which way did you guys say this was opening, right or left, because it's positive?
Right.
Okay, what is this axis of symmetry? That's this dotted line right here. What is that? First off, is it x equals or y equals if it's sideways?
Y equals
And it's y equals negative what?
-3.
-3. No coincidence. That should always work out that way when it's a sideways parabola. Okay, in order to find the focus or the directrix, we need to find our C value. Do you remember how to find the C value? 1 over
4 and put an absolute A in absolute values.
So 1 over 4 times, what's the absolute value of A? If A is 2, the absolute value would stay 2. So 1/8. So we're going to go right 1/8 and put a dot for the focus, and left 1/8 and put a dotted line for the directrix. Why that way? Because the focus is always inside the cup and the directrix is always outside the cup. Okay, what was the vertex? Because that's what's going to change. What was the vertex to begin with?
-1, -3.
And when I move right and left from this vertex, which value is changing? The x value or the y value? When you
The
move
x value.
the x value. Okay, so the -1 is what's going to change. So let's do the focus first. If I'm at -1 and I move right 1/8, that would be -1 plus 1/8.
It would be -7/8.
And it would be -7/8. So what would this vertex then be? -7/8, comma what?
-3.
Right, because the y value did not change. Okay, now from the directrix, we're going to go back to this -1 and go left. So that would be -1/8. So what's -1 plus -1/8? -1 is the same as -8/8. So what would I get?
-9/8.
-9/8. So this is an x equals line, x equals -9/8, or -1 1/8.
Okay.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Eric Bud, you're the one who asked for this one.
Yes.
Questions on it, or did it make sense?
It made sense. I think I could do number 3. Could you do one of the ones where it has 2 of them being squared?
Uh-huh. Okay, so he said he's good on 3. You have 4 and 5. Okay, so let's do 4. Any questions here, or is it okay for me to clear it?
You can clear it.
Okay. Unit 11, he said never mind on 3, so we're now on 4. And that is x minus 1 quantity squared plus y squared equals 20. Okay, so there's 2 squares, so we know it is no longer a parabola. That leaves circle, ellipse, or hyperbola. I like to look for hyperbolas next because hyperbolas have a minus sign in between your 2 squares. Is there a minus sign here or a plus sign?
Plus sign.
Okay, so it's not a hyperbola. That's a circle or an ellipse. Circle means uniform all the way around because the leading coefficients here would be the same. If those numbers are not the same, that's what makes it more stretched out and the ellipse shape. So is this a circle or an ellipse if those 2 leading coefficients are both 1?
Circle.
Circle.
It's a circle. All right, circle, what's the center? Opposite of both of them. So 1 comma, and since there's nothing with the y, what
0.
would it be? 1 comma what?
0.
0. And the only other thing we find with the circle is the radius. And the radius is 20 or the square root of 20,
Square root of 20.
which is what, 2 root 5?
Yeah.
Okay. And the square root of 20, just so graphing purposes, is approximately 4.5. Okay, so we go to graph. Chauncey, are you juggling? I did not know you could juggle. That's pretty cool.
Chauncey, you're juggling?
Yeah, I
Yeah, did
figured
you
it
see?
out.
Okay, let's see. Is this one of the things you learned over quarantine?
Yeah.
Okay, show us really quick.
Let's see if I can do it again. There.
Nice.
Chauncey did good.
All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and graph. Okay, so my center is 1, 0. And from the center, I'm going to go in each direction, right, left, up, down. How far?
4.5.
1, 2, 3, 4.5. Down 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Up 1, 2, 3, 4.5. And left 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Now it's going to be a little complicated on the screen, but you make your circular shape. Got it?
Yep.
Number 5, you had asked for 4 and 5. 5 is very different from this. Would you guys like me to do that one as well?
Yes.
Okay. Questions on 4 before I move on to 5? Okay, I am going to clear. Unit 11, number 5 is the quantity of x minus 4 squared plus the quantity of y plus 2 squared. First one's over 81, second one's over 64 equals 1. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so characteristics here first would of course be the center. And then we have the vertices, the foci, and the length of the major axis and the minor axis. Okay, and what's the center? Opposite of both of them, so +4, comma what?
Comma -2.
Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and plot that first. Okay, 4, -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2 is my center. Now, the 81 and the 64, tell me how far right and left and how far up and down. How far right and left will I be, oh. How far will I be moving? Anyone? Right and left is whatever's under the X, because right and left is the X axis. So how far right and left would I be moving? And it's not 81, it's what?
9.
9. So
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Does that make sense? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then how far up and down would I move?
8.
8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm kind of off screen. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now this looks almost circular. Why is that? It is supposed to be stretched. It is stretched out more in one
It
way.
has a high eccentricity.
Right. And why is that though? Because the A and the B.
The numbers are when they divide by each other, they almost equal 1.
Correct. Okay. Okay, I am doing a horrible job at this drawing. I'm hoping yours looks much better than mine.
Not really.
Okay, that was bad. Vertices are the endpoints that are furthest apart. Which 2 points, endpoints are furthest apart? The ones going right and left, where I moved right and left 9, or the ones going up and down, where I moved up and down 8?
Right and left.
So these here are the vertices. What are those 2 as ordered pairs? Let's see, I went from 4 to the right 9. Where would that put me?
13.
13, -2.
So, and the -2 stays, correct? And then I went left from 4, I went left 9. Where would that put me?
-5. Wait, yeah.
-2. And then foci are inside. Before I find the foci, major and minor axis. So this is the major axis. What's the length if I went right and left 9?
18.
18. What's the length of the minor if I went up and down 5? I'm sorry, up and
16.
down 8. What would it
16.
be? 16?
16.
Okay, and in order to find the foci, I need to find the focal length, which is c squared equals a squared minus b squared, or the absolute value of a squared minus b squared. And we don't have to worry about absolute value here because it comes out positive. So 81 minus 64, can anybody calculate that? What is 81 minus 64?
17.
17, and then we do what to both sides?
Square root.
Square root. And that's not a perfect square, and it does not break down. So I'm going to move right and left root 17 from the center. The center is 4, -2. When I move right and left from the center, what value is changing, the x or the y?
The X.
X.
The x. And what is it changing by?
Root 17.
So you would do 4 plus or minus root 17, and what's staying constant?
-2.
The -2. Make sense?
Yeah, I think I could do the
Yeah.
rest from here. I just needed to
Those
jog my
got
memory
little.
to do it again.
Okay. Any other questions from Unit 11?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, what about Unit 12?
I have
And if you
not gotten there yet.
I haven't
Okay.
gotten to Unit 12.
Okay, so Unit 12 I can answer next week?
Yes.
On Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys know when the next packet turn-in date is?
No.
No.
Not
No.
exactly.
It is next Friday, the 22nd,
Next-
May 22nd.
Day before my birthday.
Who said that?
Eric, but
Was that Eric Budd?
yeah.
Oh, Eric, day before your birthday. Look at you.
Look, turning the big number 1 8.
Okay, questions?
No, I'm solid.
Okay.
Like back on like unit 8 or so, how do you do like number 26? Because I remember something about evaluating if
On 26,
unit 8.
yeah, Unit 8, number
question.
26. Is that the one you're
Yes.
talking about? Okay. We did talk about that one. Any of you that were here last week remember what was shared?
I mean, I know how, like,
Okay, I'm going to write it down. He's talking about Unit 8 and number 26, which reads, if f of x equals 9/2, x minus 4/3, what is f inverse of f of 5? And I know when I asked you guys last week, I told you there was a harder way and an easier way, and most of you guys remembered the easier way. What is it?
it's the f inverse of f of x equals x.
There you
It
go.
was something like that.
Yeah, f inverse of f of x will always equal x. It's true both ways. F of f inverse of x equals x. That's because inverse operations undo each other. So what would the answer be up here? Without any extra work, the answer is just what?
5.
What is it?
5.
5. Again, that's because inverse operations undo each other. Got it?
Yes, I got it. Thank
Okay. Any others from the review packet?
Nope.
Okay.